This is a giant rock. The previous interstellar objects were hundreds of times smaller, so it just doesn't make sense.
There is a 10-gigawatt energy source moving through our solar system, and it's not ours. That's the equivalent of 10 nuclear power plants, and it's coming from an object dubbed 3I Atlas. While official channels are calling it a comet, Harvard's lead astronomer, Avi Loeb, has issued a frightening warning, suggesting we are ignoring the obvious. This object is behaving in ways no comet ever has, from its impossible glow to its strange trajectory. The evidence points to something far more deliberate, and the thing nobody tells you is, it's not the first one. The spike that can't be ignored. You see, in the vast silent emptiness of space, things are supposed to follow a certain set of rules. Comets, those dirty snowballs from the edge of our solar system, have tails that always point away from the sun. Asteroids are chunks of rock that quietly tumble along their orbital paths. They reflect sunlight, they don't create it. But recently, something entered our solar system that seems to be playing by a completely different rulebook. And it has one of the world's most respected astronomers, Avi Loeb, of Harvard University, issuing a chilling warning. Many people are crazy about the object known as 3I Atlas, but the things nobody tells you are the details that just don't add up. Discovered by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS, this object was immediately flagged as special. It was the third interstellar visitor ever detected, a traveler from another star system. At first, the official story was simple. It's a comet. But when the Hubble Space Telescope zoomed in for a closer look, the story began to fall apart. Instead of a classic tale of gas and dust trailing behind it, Hubble captured a strange beacon-like glow that seemed to be coming from in front of the object. Comets just don't do that. The sun's energy pushes material away from them, never the other way around. This was the first giant red flag, but it gets much, much stranger. The glow itself was the real puzzle. It was far too bright to be mere reflected sunlight, especially given the object's estimated size of less than a few hundred feet across. Avi Loeb and his team did the math, and the numbers they came back with were staggering. They calculated that 3I Atlas was emitting light equivalent to 10 gigawatts of power. To put that in perspective, that is the energy output of 10 full-scale nuclear power plants running at maximum capacity. This tiny object, smaller than a football stadium, was blazing with the power of a small nation. Where was all that energy coming from? Natural sources were quickly ruled out. It couldn't be a primordial black hole. The energy output would be a fraction of what was observed. Frictional heating from interstellar gas was also debunked. The simplest and most terrifying explanation was a central, compact, high-power source. In other words, a reactor. Loeb put forth the stunning hypothesis that 3I Atlas might be a spacecraft powered by nuclear energy. The glow wasn't a comet's tail, but perhaps a cloud of dust and debris that had accumulated on its surface over millions of years of travel, now being burned off by its own internal heat source. The implications are mind-bending, but the weirdness was only just beginning. Its bizarre power source is just one piece of a much larger, more frightening puzzle. Echoes of another messenger. But not all things are what they seem, and to truly understand the shockwaves 3I Atlas is sending through the scientific community, we have to rewind the clock a few years. Because this isn't the first time a mysterious messenger from another star system has left scientists scratching their heads. Back in 2017, the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii picked up our very first interstellar visitor. It was named Umuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning a messenger from afar arriving first. And from the moment it was spotted, it was clear this was no ordinary space rock. For starters, its shape was unlike anything we'd ever seen. Based on how its brightness varied as it tumbled, astronomers calculated it was highly elongated, maybe 10 times as long as it was wide. Think less like a potato-shaped asteroid, and more like a cosmic cigar or a flat pancake, hundreds of yards long. Then there was its movement. As Umuamua swung around the sun and began its journey back out into deep space, scientists noticed something incredible. It was accelerating. It was picking up speed in a way that the sun's gravity alone could not explain. Now, comets do this all the time. As the sun heats them, ice turns to gas and shoots out like a rocket thruster. giving them a little push. But here's the catch. Astronomers looked for this outgassing from Umuamua with our most powerful telescopes, including the Spitzer Space Telescope. They found nothing. No gas, no dust, no tail. Not a hint of the telltale signs of a comet. Yet, it was accelerating away as if it had engines. It was a ghost pushing itself through space. The mainstream explanation became a desperate search for exotic natural phenomena. Maybe it was a nitrogen iceberg, chipping away in ways we couldn't detect. Maybe it was a hydrogen iceberg, a type of object that has never been seen before. Avi Loeb offered a simpler, more elegant solution that explained all the data at once. Umuamua was an artificial object. Specifically, he proposed it could be a light sail, an advanced piece of technology pushed by the radiation from stars. Its thin, flat, pancake-like shape would be perfect for this kind of propulsion. It had no tail because it had no engine in the traditional sense. Its acceleration was the gentle, constant push of sunlight. It was a piece of alien technology, either active or defunct, drifting through our system. At the time, the idea was dismissed by many as sensationalism. But now, with the arrival of 3I Atlas and its own set of impossible characteristics, Umuamua doesn't look like a one-off weirdo anymore. It looks like the start of a pattern. These aren't just academic debates. A team is now actively hunting for these objects, listening for whispers, looking for objects. For decades, our search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI, has been almost entirely focused on listening. We've pointed massive radio telescopes at the stars, hoping to catch a stray signal, a deliberate broadcast, some kind of whisper in the cosmic dark. But what if the evidence isn't a signal at all? What if it's physical? This is the question that drove Avi Loeb to move beyond just writing papers and launch one of the most exciting and controversial scientific ventures of our time, the Galileo project. The project's goal is revolutionary in its simplicity: to bring the search for alien technology from the realm of blurry photos and anecdotal stories into the mainstream of transparent, systematic scientific research. You see, the problem has always been a lack of good data. The Galileo project aims to change that. They are building a network of state-of-the-art observatories. The first is already operational, sitting on the roof of the Harvard College Observatory. These aren't just regular telescopes. They are equipped with a suite of sensors, including high-resolution cameras and infrared detectors, all scanning the sky 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The immense amount of data they collect is fed into an advanced artificial intelligence system. This AI has been trained to filter out the known objects, the birds, balloons, drones, commercial airplanes, and satellites, and flag only the true unknowns, what the government now calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs. The goal is to get a crystal clear, unambiguous image of something that defies conventional explanation. But the project's scope goes far beyond just looking for strange things in our atmosphere. A major branch of the Galileo project is dedicated to finding the next Umuamua or 3Y Atlas. They are developing software to use with next-generation sky surveys, like the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, which is expected to detect a new interstellar object every few months once it's fully online. The plan is to spot these visitors early, track them with incredible precision, and maybe, just maybe, design a space mission to intercept one. Imagine sending a probe to fly alongside one of these objects, to take close-up images, to find out once and for all if it's made on exoplanet Y. This is no longer just a thought experiment. It's a funded, active scientific endeavor led by a team from Harvard, Princeton, and other top institutions. They are no longer waiting for the evidence to fall into their laps. They are actively hunting for it. But as the hunt begins, a bigger question emerges. What if they find something? The silence of the stars. So, let's bring this all back down to Earth for a moment. Forget the complex physics and the astronomical jargon. What does this all actually mean for you, for all of us? The thing is, we have two interstellar objects that have behaved in ways that defy easy explanation. We have a world-renowned scientist from Harvard leading a multi-million-dollar project to find more. The evidence is starting to pile up that something profound is happening in our cosmic neighborhood, and it forces us to ask some very deep and frankly uncomfortable questions. If these objects are technological, Who sent them? And more importantly, why? Is 3I Atlas a scout? A probe sent to observe us? Is its 10-gigawatt energy spike a signal, a way of saying, here we are? Or is it something more ominous? Many people in the mainstream scientific community are quick to dismiss these ideas. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and we're not there yet. They prefer to invent new kinds of natural phenomena, like hydrogen icebergs, rather than consider the possibility of technology. But Avi Loeb argues this is a failure of imagination, a form of scientific arrogance that assumes we are the most intelligent life in the universe. He compares it to an ant on a sidewalk looking at a cell phone. The ant has no concept of what it is, so it would likely dismiss it as just a weird, shiny rock. Are we the ants in this scenario, unable to comprehend the technology right in front of our eyes? This isn't just about finding aliens. This is about our place in the universe. For our entire history, we have looked up at the stars and wondered, are we alone? The answer to that question will change everything about how we see ourselves, our religions, our societies, and our future. It could be the single most important discovery in human history. We are living in a moment where that discovery might be just around the corner. The data is streaming in from the Galileo project. The next interstellar visitor could be the one that provides the smoking gun. The question for us is, are we ready for the answer? What happens overnight when the mystery ends and a new reality begins? And here's where the rabbit hole gets really deep, because once you open the door to the possibility of technology, the potential motives get very strange, very fast. The thing nobody tells you is that these objects might not be active probes from a thriving civilization. They could be something far older and far more tragic. Some theorists wonder if these are relics, the last ghosts of a civilization that failed to pass what's known as the Great Filter. The idea is that all civilizations eventually face a test: nuclear war, climate collapse, a rogue AI that most fail to survive. What if these probes are automated messengers sent out eons ago by a species that no longer exists? They could be cosmic tombstones, endlessly carrying a message of warning from a dead world. In this scenario, the energy spike from 3I Atlas isn't a greeting. It's a pre-programmed siren, a final, desperate scream into the void. But what if the opposite is true? What if the builders are still out there, and our solar system is just a node in a vast galactic network? One of the wildest theories treats Umuamua not as a spaceship, but as a data collector, a cosmic USB stick. Its strange, tumbling path could have been a systematic scan, gathering information on everything from the composition of our asteroids to the radio leakage from Earth. It was quiet, passive, and it collected terabytes of data. Then comes 3I Atlas. What if it's the other half of the system, the transmitter? It enters the system, receives the data Umuamua collected, and its 10-gigawatt power source isn't for propulsion. It's to power a massive antenna, beaming a report about planet Earth and its inhabitants, back home or to the next relay station. We wouldn't be dealing with explorers. We'd be dealing with a cosmic information system that's been operating for millions of years, and we just happened to finally notice two of its pieces. Then there's the darkest possibility of all, the one that sci-fi writers have warned us about for a century, the Berserker theory. This idea proposes that the galaxy might be filled with hostile, self-replicating probes designed with one purpose: to seek out and eliminate any emerging biological life before it can become a competitor. They are automated planetary immune systems. They lie dormant for thousands of years, listening. When they detect the telltale signs of a technological species like our radio waves, they activate. Umuamua could have been the sniffer, the scout that detected us. And 3I Atlas? Its energy spike could be its weapon system charging up, or its replication drive coming online to build more hunters using the raw materials in our own asteroid belt. If we do find undeniable proof of alien technology, should we respond or stay silent? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve on the biggest mysteries in the cosmos, make sure you like this video and subscribe.